You know that saying, you're richer than you think? Well, some celebrities are poorer than you think. Starting off our list today at number 10, we have Bella Thorne. Okay, obviously Bella Thorne isn't rock bottom poor, but surprisingly, she isn't as rich as we all thought she was. Thanks to her racy Instagram pics and her revealing outfits, the former Disney Channel actress has been able to become a tabloid darling. In 2017, if you factor in on her again and off again relationship with Keeping Up with the Kardashian star Scott Disick, it's pretty much made Bella become quite a public profile. However, before Bella became the big name she is today, after she left Disney Channel, she had $200 to her name, and at the age of 18, she even had to overcome some dark experiences, which even included her going broke at the age of 18. Things definitely did take a turn for the actress later, as she is now worth $12 million. However, that's still a pretty low penny for Hollywood standards, and she might find herself in a tough spot again, as she's formed a reputation for partying with bad boys instead of fine-tuning her acting skills. Number 9. Lindsay Lohan. Even though her glory days as a Disney star and a box office success of Mean Girls are far behind her, at one point Lindsay Lohan was everyone's favorite Hollywood it girl turned bad, and even after her reputation caught up to her, she's still trying to make up for all of her losses. After reaching the peak of her career, when Lindsay's partying got out of control and she publicly started to air out all of her family's dirty laundry, she quickly began racking up legal troubles. Eventually, her public and private mess-ups led to her losing paid gigs, paired with her substance abuse problem. The star's stints have even caused her to go in and out of rehab, which caused her to have a never-ending number of unpaid bills. And as quickly Lindsay made money in her career, she ended up losing everything. Even after the star lost everything, she could still be seen taking lengthy vacations in the Mediterranean when she was not living in London, which caused us all to wonder how she was affording everything when her net worth was only worth $500,000 at the time. Things today though have taken a turn for the actress, as she's now worth $2 million thanks to her Netflix deal and her new marriage. Number 8, we have Ezra Miller. While Justice League is shaping up to be another sore loss for the DC Extended Universe, Ezra Miller's portrayal of the Flash has been heralded as a breakout performance, according to The Nerdiest, with fans hoping that Ezra Miller's solo performance as a heroic speedster, the Flash, would fix the problems that have plagued DC's attempts to mimic Marvel movie success, would only be left feeling disappointed as the star began to spiral out of control. With Ezra having a pretty prominent role in the Harry Potter spin-off series Fantastic Beasts, you would think that the actor having 2 blockbuster franchises under his belt would be worth some serious coin. However, instead, the actor's annual salary is only $500,000, which is a little alarming considering Grant Gustin, the TV version of The Flash, is worth $2 million, making Ezra only worth $4 million today. So it really makes you wonder, how did that happen? Number 7. Kelly Rutherford. After Kelly Rutherford starred in the hit television series Gossip Girl, you would think she would be sitting in a pretty good spot these days. However, apparently the star is now only worth around $1 million, which is nothing compared to what she used to be worth. Sadly, Kelly lost a lot of her money during a bitter 6-year custody battle over her children, and when her court case was finally settled, a judge would grant full custody to her German ex-husband Daniel, and Kelly would be only permitted to visit her kids in France and Monaco. Back in 2015, the Daily Mail would also report that Kelly's legal fees at the end totaled around $1.4 million, which forced the actress to file for bankruptcy back in 2013. Later, Kelly would also tell Vanity Fair that divorce is a total racket. Let's call it what it is. Everyone's making tons of money off of stupid people who don't settle out of court. And for somebody like my ex-husband, who has unlimited funds, who sued Google, this is just a sort of side fun project. Yikes. Number 6. Stephen Amell. Stephen Amell is a well-known Hollywood actor thanks to his role in the CW's hit show The Arrow. His time as the DC comic hero Green Arrow has been so successful that the series began a linchpin for shared TV universe that has grown to include The Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and animated spin-offs. But despite the affectionately named Arrowverse flying high with fans worldwide, Stephen has a net worth of only $3 million. After 6 seasons of The Arrow and a supporting role in the 2016 summer blockbuster Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, his overall net worth just seems a little weak, and it's honestly just makes no sense. Hopefully in the future, Stephen's agent will be able to hit a bullseye when it comes to Stephen's future salary negotiations, as the star is being ripped off. Number 5. 5, we have Alicia Vikander. After critically acclaimed performance in the sci-fi thriller Ex Mechanica, Swedish actress Alicia Vikander landed the coveted role of Lara Croft in the 2018 Tomb Raider reboot. Despite succeeding Angelina Jolie as the video game heroine, Alicia is only sitting on a net worth around $8 million, which is a far cry from Angelina Jolie's stunning net worth of $120 million, which honestly isn't that surprising since the reboot of Tomb Raider definitely didn't live up to the standards of Angelina Jolie. That being said, the first trailer of Alicia's Tomb Raider lit social media on fire, so there is a pretty good chance that the actress's gritty take on the role could be a hit with audiences and span a larger paycheck down the road. But hopefully it's just not through another Tomb Raider movie, because that movie seriously didn't do her acting any justice. Number 4. Jared Padalecki. Supernatural has been a reliable staple on the CW network since 2005, with its 15th season being the final season airing in spring of 2020. The show was such a success that they even made a reboot series called The Winchesters. Since Supernatural ended, fans were indeed obsessed with the series, as it remained strong enough that there was also a launch of a spin-off series in 2017 called Wayward Sisters, which is surprising to hear that the series star, Jared, is only worth around $14 million, despite anchoring the popular show for more than a decade. Granted, Supernatural ended, it has been rumored that there is still a pretty good chance that the show could get more seasons later on due to the show's consistent ratings. And if this does happen, Jared should definitely ask for a raise. With the series having 15 seasons, he was definitely underpaid. While Jared and Jensen are open to the idea of rebooting Supernatural in the future, they just aren't open to the idea as of right now. But give it 2 more years and we'll probably see the famous heartthrobs back on TV doing what they do best. Number 3. Burt Reynolds. The late Burt Reynolds was a Hollywood legend with more than 50 years of acting under his belt. But despite his iconic status and a drink named after him, he only had a net worth around $3 million before he passed away. The Smokey and the Bandit actor was, however, the first to admit that he wasn't the best when it came to his finances, but he did it with that trademark Reynolds charm. He once even told Vanity Fair that he lost more money than possible as he never really watched his spending habits. While Burt was facing foreclosure on his Florida home due to his outrageous spending, he would say, "I've still done well in terms of owning property and things like that, but I haven't been somebody who's been smart about his money. There are a couple of actors who are quite brilliant with the way they handled their money, but they're not very good actors." He then ended the interview with a smile. Number 2. Stephen Baldwin. The Baldwin family as a whole has been so successful that it's pretty easy to imagine that the whole family is rolling in a pile of green behind the doors. But the bottom line for Stephen Baldwin, who happens to be Hailey Bieber's dad, is much different, as he's actually worth only around $1 million, which is pretty low when you compare it to Hailey Bieber's net worth of $20 million. Stephen can owe a lot of his net worth due to the fact that he landed himself in hot water a couple of years ago, after he failed to file income taxes for 3 years. His attorney would then tell CNN later that Mr. Baldwin is a man of faith and it's difficult for him to get jobs in Hollywood that are compatible with his faith. And that's one of the difficulties he's had for paying off the money. Well, maybe one day his wealthy relatives will float him a loan. Number 1. Pamela Anderson. In the 90s, Pamela Anderson pulled off the impressive transition when it came to career moves, as she went from being an X-rated model of the month to a successful actress, thanks to a small role on the sitcom called Home Improvement. After 2 seasons, Pamela made her biggest move by landing her now iconic gig on Baywatch, which paved the way for her starring in her own TV series called VIP. Also, throw in a couple of magazine covers in her infamous marriage to Motley Crue rocker Tommy Lee, it's no wonder why Pamela was then later named the most powerful Canadian in Hollywood back in 2005. However, things would then quickly turn south for the actor in 2009 after her career dried up, and she found herself in more than $1 million in the hole after blowing tons of the cash renovating her home. She also ran into problems with unpaid taxes in 2012. Now today, Pamela is now worth $20 million, which might sound mighty fine to us, but it's not a whole lot in Tinseltown.